7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake, and Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great flag. That's a way.
Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow.
Edwards pulls up and buries the flag.
Richardson tries, out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. Daniels takes his shot for Darby. Flag out.
What is up, all? Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Again, apologies for a little bit of a late start. I have a total awesome surprise for you. It is curveball from what we're going to talk about. The good news is it's Thursday, so a lot of us can talk about tomorrow. And again, we'll get caught up tomorrow. I'm not blowing it off, but we had some media availability with Coach Dllingham and Coach Ragle and Jake Plummer swung by too. So we are on this Thirsty Thursday going to quench some football thirst. But again, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. You can see the show live there every day, usually Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. I know a little bit of late start today. My apologies, but at the same time, again, getting all that sound, talking to Jake Plummer, setting stuff up for a little bit later. He's going to have a pickleball charity tournament here in Tempe. So yes, that is coming up, but yeah, got to talk to him. So see this live on X Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. My IG, Michael.Caracino.5. The YouTube channel, guys, again, you've missed a ton. You're going to miss a lot of sound if you're not watching right now, but you can go to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Caracino. It's at M as in Michael, B as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube, and go check out all the con reviews that we have had with guests, all that great stuff. So yes, you can go to YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, Season Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Also, guys watching, you know, you can listen on the Casual Sports Radio Network. Again, much love for Casual E, inviting Pitchfork Lunch to be part of the KSRN family. All you have to do is go to www.ksrnaz.com. Page will pop up. Click listen live, hit play. Bam, Monday through Friday. Pitchfork Lunch is right there. And yes, I will remind you, because I got to get things rolling. I will remind you, subscribe to all their socials, because Casual E, when it comes to the Suns, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Mercury, Casual E and the Casual Sports Radio Network have you absolutely covered. Comprehensive coverage of these teams. The Suns start in San Antonio tonight. Let's see if, again, they can make a charge to the play-in. I had a very optimistic view yesterday. I said they're going to get to the 6th seed. So we'll see what happens. But also, those going to meet your friends for lunch, you can stream it through your Bluetooth. Yes, I want you to watch, but please don't drive and watch. Like I always say, you're smart. You're Sun Devils. Pay attention to the road. Don't cause accidents. On my behalf, again, I want you to get your Sun Devil thirst quenched on this Thirsty Thursday and every Thirsty Thursday. But, yeah, you can listen, stream it through your Bluetooth. Again, www.ksrnaz.com. Then when you get to where you're going, meet your friends for lunch, you can still listen on your phone or watch, again, YouTube, X, Instagram, IG. It's all there. So, and it is the greatest internet radio station on the web, www.ksrnaz.com. Yeah, so look, we're going to get right to it today. A little curveball. Coach Dllingham spoke a little quicker. He started earlier, and yes, you guys know me. I got there 2 minutes before I was supposed to start, and he was well into it. Two minutes before the start time. And it wasn't like I just missed the first 3 minutes of his 5 minutes because, again, slacker, my bad, but I'm a Sun Devil. He's a Sun Devil. It's awesome. So, and we're going to hear from Coach Ragle, again, getting the Distinguished Award from the Arizona Federation. I don't want to screw that up, but he got the Distinguished Award. Yes, I want to get this right. But yeah, Coach Ragle getting an award. Again, it's very well deserved because it is earned. And we'll hear from Coach Ragle. Yeah, so we'll hear from Coach Ragle. Yes, we shall hear from Coach Ragle and Jake Plummer and Coach Dllingham, all very, very shortly. But yes, the award, and I will tell you which one it is. The National Football Foundation Distinguished Award is what from the Phoenix, Arizona chapter. Coach Ragle is getting that award. Well earned, well deserved. Forks up to Coach Ragle there. So yes, we're going to get started though right away, and we're going to get started right away, and we are going to hear from a little bit from Coach Dllingham. We're going to hear a little bit from Coach Dllingham first, and then, like I said, we'll hear from Coach Ragle again because it's absolutely just awesome award. And yes, I want to get to it all. So again, but yeah, Coach Ragle, assistant head coach, special teams coordinator. A lot going on. But yeah, well-deserved award. And like I said, we've had Coach Ragle. He's been a great friend of the program, always been generous at this time. I mean, obviously here at ASU, but just throughout the years for me, even when he, was at down at the school down south or, at Cal, and then coming back here, and obviously way back when at, Chaparral. So, yeah, that, again, it's well earned and what he has done. But yes, so first let's hear from Kenny Dllingham, head coach, going into their third season, guys. Second season went obviously a little bit ahead of schedule, as they like to say. But yes, one was success, and guys are working hard now. And spring ball going to start the end of March. So yeah, absolutely awesome. But yes, without further ado, here is Sun Devil head coach Kenny Dllingham from earlier this morning, coming to you right here on Pitchfork Lunch.
To get around town visibility wise?
Yeah, definitely harder. Definitely, can't be as discreet, can't put a hat on and disappear. But, like I tell people, if you're here long enough, which I want to be, you're going to be recognized, and you're either going to be recognized and people are going to boo you, or you're going to be recognized and they want to take a photo. I'd much rather come up and somebody want to take a photo than somebody boo me. So hopefully we don't, lose too many games and people still want a photo instead of the booing.
I think it was On 3 had a thing where they ranked all the worst calls of the season, and you guys were #1 for that missed targeting in Texas. Just when you look back at last season, there's anything kind of woulda, coulda, shoulda, or like that, for lack of a better term, keeps you up at night of what could have been?
See, I'm different. I think about what I could like, what I didn't like. I didn't like Texas Tech. There's a minute 30 left. They have 3 timeouts, or they have 2 timeouts. We're on the 4 yard line. We get down to the foot yard line with Shaman's throw. Okay, we have 3 timeouts playing the defense. Do we score quick? Minute 30 left. To get a stop, get the ball back, win the middle 8 that way. Do we run the ball, try not to score as fast? They call 2 timeouts, give them the ball back with the 120 with no timeouts, and try to get a stop, but then we don't get the ball back. That didn't turn out our way. We ended up trailing consistently in the game by 11. They kicked a field goal at the end of the first half. I worry about that stuff. Like, my mind is like, man, did I handle that poorly? Should we have slowed the game down there? Should we have been as aggressive in that scenario? Cost us 3 points. We were down 8 almost all game. Dang, that could have been a completely different game if that would have played out. So that's what keeps me up at night, is those scenarios and how I could have helped our team win more games.
Sorry, just coming off the season you guys had, how has that helped just the NIL support you guys have seen?
Yeah, huge support change. I mean, people are excited about the program. I think that's clear. Hearing us talked about on the radio and on television channels and articles written, all that stuff is recruiting. We're recruiting, and local media. You don't know it yet, but people want to recruit the state. You're recruiting the state. You recruit the state when everybody else recruits the state, because you talk to the kids when everybody else talks to the kids, because they read, they listen, and they watch everything that you guys do. And you guys are really the stamp of approval if they can come to Arizona State. And it doesn't just happen as a sophomore, junior, senior. It happens when they're a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old. They're hearing positive ASU, positive ASU, positive ASU. There's some negative in there, that's part of it. But the narrative around the place is people matter, it cares, it's the place to be, you want to go there. Well, that 10-year-old is going to do that for the next 7 years. And when we come calling, that's going to be his dream, not another option.
Right, that's all the time we have, Coach.
We'll do the last one. He already got the mic, and then we'll let Ragle run.
We'll get you out of here.
Silly question. What do you think of the 2 legends standing over there in the corner?
Oh my! I one legend.
2 legends. Be nice to me.
Oh. I'm hoping I got this golf event, and then I'm hoping to come link up with Jake and play a little pickleball here.
That was my question. How's your pickleball game?
I've played once in my life for 20 minutes. So absolutely atrocious. And if I would have played my entire life, I probably still could not beat you. But that's the reality of it. But hopefully I'll be able to link up later. We'll be able to play some pickleball.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, so real quick, you heard Coach there. Again, I'll wrap that up. But now we are going to go to Coach Ragle, again, getting the Distinguished National Football Foundation Award from the Arizona chapter. Again, that is March 8th. So stoked for Coach Ragle. Again, fiery. He gets it. But let's hear from Coach.
Talking about his perception of how you evolved over your career. Just was curious about your reflection on the arc over time that you've spent as a football coach in Arizona and what this honor means to you.
Yeah, it's humbling. When you look at the list of people that have been awarded and are on it, it's really, really humbling, to say the least. And I think when you look at something of this magnitude, it only obviously makes you reflect on your career and just the people that I've interacted with and built relationships with over my career here in Arizona. And It's something that is immensely special to me, and it's a big reason, aside from Kenny and the staff that I knew he was going to put together, a major reason why I wanted to come back here to Arizona, because this place is special to me, you know, and just watching it as a kid, and you know, watching this guy to the right of me do the things that he did a while ago. Just, there's so many things, but I just, the state of Arizona is where I cut my teeth, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the Arizona high school football community and the people of Arizona.
How did you find out that you were being given this honor, and how did you immediately feel or react to that?
Well, I was actually sick when Brad Sussback called me, and I was laying in bed, and I was kind of like I was feeling terrible, to be honest. And he called me, and like the gravity of the award, I was very appreciative and didn't really know what to say. And the gravity of it sunk in. You know, I went back to sleep, to be honest, and got up a couple hours later and just started kind of looking at it and doing a little research in the history of it. And it's a full circle family moment for me, because as I went through the award winners, in 1997, my uncle actually won this award, Nick Bolich, and he was, at the time, he was heavily invested in the Fiesta Bowl, and at one point was the Fiesta Bowl president. So, you know, to be on a list with my uncle who did so many great things for me, and then just like I said, with the names that are on that list, again, it's an awesome feeling. And I think at the end of the day, it makes me feel a lot of gratitude knowing that I've hopefully had an impact on players and people and coaches in the state of Arizona.
Cam. Coach, good to see you.
What's up, Cam? How are you?
Coach, what's it like just to be part of this program? I mean, now these years later, to kind of do the job that you've been able to do, and kind of what this whole thing has kind of meant?
Well, I mean, you know, as a kid that grew up in southwest New Mexico, you know, just about, 30, 40 miles from the Arizona border, and my mom being a native from Mesa, and coming here as often as I did, and growing up a Sun Devil fan, it is a unique perspective for myself. And, you know, I remember my freshman year in college writing a letter. We had to write a letter to ourselves, our future self, in adolescent psychology. And I wrote a letter talking about how I would coach here one day. And, you know, you do those things, and you do a lot of those things as a youth, right? But actually to have that come to fruition and see that through and be back here, and have had the success that we've had so quickly, it's almost one of those where, you know, probably 8 to 10 years from now, I'll sit back and really appreciate it. You're in it right now. I was telling Coach Ward this the other day. I looked at him, we're getting on the elevator 2 nights ago going home, and I was like, man, is it just me, or is it, it's like the time here just goes so fast. Like, to say, like, we're going into our 3rd season, you know, it's just like, it's crazy to me. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, but it all still feels so new. And to me, that's when, man, you're really having a good time. Like, it gives me goosebumps, because the authenticity of the guys that we have, and the appreciation that we have for this place, and just the genuineness of the staff and the people involved in the program, it does feel like it's still relatively new, but yet we're going into year 3. So just very grateful, and again, just very honored to be the award recipient this year.
How you doing, Charlie? Hunter, being a Devil's Digest. Kenny talked about your role on the team, not only as a special teams coach, but also like really being behind the scenes, a guy that reins in Ken Dllingham, not to play ice hockey in the middle of fall camp, or not have hoops out there in the practice field. Is that a role that you expected to undertake when you did come over with Kenny, or is that something that just evolved on the job?
I don't know how good a job I'm doing, right? Especially in that BYU game. No, but you know, it's evolved, obviously. You know, and my biggest thing is, I told him, like, look, I'm in a position now in my career where, you know, I'm not smarter. You know, I've just, as Coach Walker says, I've been around a little longer and seen more pictures. So maybe I've gone through it once or twice. And my job is to try and help him and help our program in any way, shape, or form. You know, and it's kind of a role I've embraced, in you know, helping him when he needs it in a lot of different facets, you know, but at the same time, you know, he's also helping me, you know, and he's challenging me. I think there's sometimes you get set in your ways, you know, and you want to do things a certain way, and he comes at things with certain approaches that you're like, man, that's crazy. and then it works. And you're like, maybe it wasn't so crazy, you know. So it's a good balance, and you know, I think that we complement each other well. You know, I know we've talked about this probably 10 years ago. I don't know if it would have worked, you know, but you know, I'm at a different place, and I just want to see us win, you know, at a high level, and continue to win. And it's, you know, when you get to this point in your career, you realize it's, and I've always kind of been this way, driven this way. It's about the people. And I don't care what you do in life, man. The whole process is about the people. And anybody that really knows me knows I'm people driven. And when you drive with people and you drive with the right people, you'll always get to the right location.
Mark's been Doug.
Hey, Coach. Mark McClellan, Arizona's family. Good to see you.
Mark, good to see you.
Going back to the essay about wanting to be a coach here one day, and maybe the first interaction you had with Kenny and Chaparral when you brought him on your staff over there, did you think back then that would bring the essay into fruition, bring Kenny and staff?
No, I'm not that smart, not even close, but I knew he was talented. I was just talking about this earlier today, in fact, and you know, just life is about timing, being at the right place, right? But again, it comes back to people. I saw something in him that I knew he was a doer and a difference maker, you know, and that was his plus one. He was a difference maker, and when you're a difference maker, you're not for everybody. There's always going to be people against you. This isn't a popularity contest. We know that, and sometimes you're gonna upset people, and people are gonna have you know, disagreements with you. But at the end of the day, if you do things right, like you're gonna end up where you need to be. And I saw something in him that was you know, again, a difference maker, and then what he did in pursuing his path. I'd like to think I helped him get started, and then he attacked that thing with every ounce and fiber in his body, and you know, and obviously we're here because of that. But you know, again, we had a lot of great talent on that staff at Chaparral. And we got two guys that are, you know, general manager roles in the NFL, potentially a third coming. It just, again, you surround yourself with great people, and great things will happen.
Charlie. Kenny talked a lot about just not being a flash in the pan, building off of what you guys did last year. In all your time in football, whether it be in college or high school, did you have moments where people came up to you and because I know we all get it a lot, why isn't Arizona State more consistent? Why isn't Arizona State, you know, at the top of college football? Did you ever have conversations like that? Did people approach you with that question?
Well, when I came here, right, in '99 and started coaching, and then went to Chaparral in 05, and then came here in December of 05 with Dirk, Coach Cutter, and did, you know, whatever 12.5-month stint, right? And like, that's when I really saw the inner workings of Arizona State, right? Everything else had been from the outside as a high school coach, and I had worked 5 summers with those guys, you know, Mark Helfrich and that entire staff, a bunch of those guys, right? And built that relationship to get that opportunity to GA. And then when I left, you know, when Dirk got fired and we got let go, I went back to Chaparral. You know, 29, I'm about to become the head coach there. I understood the process in which Arizona State was running, and it gave me a two-sided look at it, from the high school side and then immediately to their perspective. And it's probably from that point on that I really, you know, those first 5 years when I got here, I was just oblivious. I was just trying to make it day to day, and I was 23 years old trying to figure it out. I started to process like what it would take in order for Arizona State to be good. And we don't have enough time here today to get into that, right? Because you really got to get into the weeds. And Kenny hit on something that I think is spot on. You know, when things don't go well in the coaching world, they want to make changes in 4 or 5 years. And I understand what the business is and the process of all that, selling tickets and all of those things, right? I get that. But when you talk about recruiting kids here locally, you know, that stuff, you know, I have a 13-year-old, he's in 7th grade. You know, he's been obviously with me for 13 years as my son, but, you know, it's probably when he started turning 10 or 11, even though he was going to games and doing all that stuff, now he's sitting down next to me asking questions. We go for a walk the other night, he's asking me questions. He knows about the players, he's all dialed in, and that's probably happened in like a 2-year span. And so my point in saying that is, like, it is like a 6 or 7 year process. These guys are getting fed information. And it isn't when they get to their junior and senior years of high school that they make the decision on where they go to school. Ultimately it is, but that thing has been a long time coming. And I just don't think that over the process of the last 20 plus years, you have people that have moved here at a rapid rate, The high school football has continually gotten better, but it's still not an emphasis as it would be in a place like Texas. Even the athletes in Florida where they stay home, right? So I think there's so many different touching points to touch on, and I know I'm a little bit all over the map here, just stay with me for a second, is that we've never really had one central figure or central theme to dial everything into a point of why ASU is and can be special. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this because I work for the guy, but he is that beacon. I mean, he's a kid that grew up here. He's a kid that believes in Arizona State. He believes in the Valley of the Sun. He totally encompasses everything that is the Valley. And so when you have that as your leader and that beacon, how can you not look to that focal point and say, hey, if we do X, Y, and Z, we have a place to go. And when we get there, we're going to be able to do this, not just for one time, but for a long time.
Robbie?
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Kind of to piggyback off of that, you've recruited Arizona for a very long time. How different, or has it been different in the last 6 months or so when you're going into local living rooms and it's maybe not so much maybe convincing people to come to ASU? Is there already kind of, they know what you guys are doing in building, I guess?
I tell you this, and I'm not exaggerating, every high school that I went into in the state in the month of January, everybody wanted to talk ASU football. And I'm not talking to coaches. I mean, the first thing the coaches, hey man, give you a hug, great season, man, proud of you guys, it was awesome to watch. But you go to the front office, somebody in the office wants to talk to you. You know, the janitor, the assistant principal, and AD will come out. Everybody wanted to talk about ASU football. And I think that's the one thing, when I was living in the Bay and I was coaching at Cal, obviously still very involved in recruiting here, right? We're watching the Suns make their playoff run. And I told my kids, I was like, we were getting ready to go on vacation. I said, look, if the Suns make the finals, we're going, right? And so they did, obviously. We flew down here for game one. And I've told my kids for years, there's two, the original two, the Suns and the Sun Devils. And when they're playing at a high level, there's no better place to be in the country than right here. And you could feel that in every high school that I went to. And I mean, again, it's tangible, man. They wanted to touch it, they wanted to feel it, and it lets you know that if we can sustain this, and when we sustain it, what we can do big picture is really something that's going to be special.
Michael. Coach Michael Carestino, Pitchfork Lunch. You talk about relationships when you get an award like this, working with coaches and obviously bouncing stuff off each other, but players, building relationships. I've talked to so many coaches throughout the year saying, you know, when a player comes back years later and visits and there's stories that like something you affected, was there a player or a few players you remember from a while after coaching where they came back and they're like, man, everything, like, it just sunk in, coach, and it was great playing for you?
I mean, there's a ton. And, you know, I had a kid, Corey Shano, that played for me, that was just a very good high school player, didn't go on to play college, and sent me a great message a while back, just talking about life and the things that we talked about and reiterated in the program. And you get a lot of those, right? And maybe not a lot, but you get some of those in your career, and those are the checkpoints where they make you stop and appreciate it and value that, hey, what I did had a difference in people's lives. But I think, you know, when you get it on a global scale and you look at a guy like Taylor Lewan, you know, who I just talked to 2 weeks ago, and you see what a guy like that has done on a national level, right? And obviously an immense talent, but has never forgot about, you know, where he came from. And, you know, we talked a couple weeks ago, and to this day, he's always reiterates that I would not be here if it wasn't for the things that you guys did to help me at Chaparral. And to know, you know, again, from the Corey Shanos to the Taylor Lewans, that you've made an impact. At the end of the day, that's again what it's all about.
Anything else from the back? Adam, go ahead.
Is there a favorite Arizona high school football memory that you have coaching here at the state?
Ooh, there's a lot. If I was to dial it down to one, I think probably winning the second state championship in Cardinal Stadium, because those kids that finished that senior class lost 3 football games in 4 years, and it was just what it really cemented for me is that the conviction of and I've heard Jake say this multiple times, and you look at teams that win, like our team this year that won at a high level, the commitment to each other, the brotherhood. At the end of the day, that's why you do this. Like, you get done playing and it's like, okay, I'm a smart guy. I can go do something, you know, I'll figure it out, but why? I would rather be involved in the world of athletics, because that relationship building and those relationships and that brotherhood, there's nothing like it. And so I just look at that team and winning, you know, back to back and going, you know, what did they go? 29-1 in 2 years in their junior and senior years. I think that's probably one of the most special moments of just seeing a group that really band together for 4 years and watch them grow was really something special.
Chris?
Charlie, football question. So if the House element goes through and we expand to 105 scholarships and there's no walk-ons anymore, how does that change recruiting and your roster and special teams? And then how do you feel about your group going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, one, it's, you know, you're slowly but surely working your way towards an NFL concept, right? The only difference is, right, in the NFL, if you don't, you know, if a guy gets hurt, you know, you can waive him and sign somebody else. So the margin for error when you talk about specialists, you know, what that number is going to be, we haven't yet decided, right? But whatever that number is, it's going to be smaller. We obviously know that. So, you know, you've got to, in my opinion, you have to sign more, you know, combo guys, so that, you know, you kicker and a punter, those are their primary, and then whoever that swing guy is has to be a combo guy that can come in and perform at a high enough level to help you win. And so, you know, getting 3 guys of that caliber is a challenge for sure at any level. But I do feel good about where we're at with, you know, our kicking and punting situation, with bringing in Jesus, you know, here over the break, and what he's done in his last 3 years at Eastern Michigan, over a career 80%, you know, big leg. And then I think you'll see tremendous growth from Canyon, from a freshman to his sophomore year. I'm really high on what he can do there. So, but it is going to be a challenge, and I don't think that's just in the specialist world. I think that's across the board, because, you know, when you talk about 15 or 20 extra bodies as the season wears on, and being able to have those guys to practice, not having them will certainly create some different challenges in ways that we have to look at how we're going to shape and structure our practices. And I think it's something so little as that, but he was always ahead of the curve and trying to push the process. I left him the longest voicemail just ripping him. I was like, your name is Kenny, it's not Ken, you're 19, dude. Act like you've got a life and you go out and do something, you know. But he was just different, man. And I think to this day, that's what the biggest compliment that I can give him is that when everybody else was doing kid things, he was driven to stay the course and stay focused on the goals that he wanted to achieve, which he's living right now. And for the record, he could play 20 years of pickleball and would never beat Jake.
All right, anything else? Good? Awesome.
Appreciate everybody.
Doing the things that you need to have that guy do. As QB number 1, all eyes are on you, and whether you want it or not, and however you carry yourself is your choice. But I see the things that are inherent in a guy that's a natural leader and plays with his heart and soul, and isn't worried about what his hair looks like when he takes his helmet off. He's ready to go yell at somebody if they didn't do their job, and he's also ready to go celebrate a nice drive and a touchdown. And so playing without, you know, any guardrails, he's out there just flying around leading with passion is really, if there's a comparison to be made, is that I didn't have any plan in place. I just went out and played with my heart and soul, and I saw that from him this year. I saw that from him in spring practice, which was really encouraging to hear Kenny say, hey, this kid's got something watching this year. So I started paying attention, because when you can do it on the field, that's great. But when you do it on the practice field, and when you do it in the locker room, and when you do it in these hallways, and you bring that passion and that desire and that overreaching, you know, attitude of, hey, I am Sam Levitt, I'm the quarterback, QB number 1, but I'm also here with you, and I'm part of this whole organization, not just a single guy out there getting all the attention. That's what I like to see, and that's what I've heard. I haven't been around in these buildings enough to watch that and see that in person, but got some pretty trusted allies around here that fill me in when I have questions. And from what I'm hearing, you know, that's a good thing. And you can't go out without somebody setting that tone. You can't have a successful organization or successful team. I'm saying organization, program. You can't have a successful program without that person, at least a few of them. And most important is having that quarterback that can do that. What he's done already, though, is he's a freshman. You know, I didn't have that year, my freshman year. I came out and played hard, and we almost made a bowl game, and I became the leader just through my actions and my passion. But what he did as a freshman was very impressive. To watch him go out and just to lead, miss only one game, but be out there and show his toughness and leadership, and bring the guys around him with him. So it's exciting to see what's next. All the talk and all the stuff everybody's saying, it's like, yeah, whatever. I have a feeling he's just going to work and getting ready to go have even a better year next year.
Chris Carbon, Son of a Source. Jake, when you were around the team last year, were there things that were reminiscent at all of 1996 or just playing for Bruce? The comparisons between how different or similar in whatever ways the staffs were, or the leadership, as you mentioned, with Sam, or anything else?
I wasn't around enough to be able to draw any comparisons. You know, we put in with the group of guys we had. We didn't have anybody leaving in the portal. We had a few guys who maybe didn't remain eligible academically that we lost, but there was a core group of guys that we knew that were getting after it. And so for us, it was a 4-year process to get to that year in '96 that we had. We had a couple really rough years, losing to U of A the last game when we were bowl eligible possibly, and then a 3-8 season my sophomore year. So you throw that 3-8 season out this year or next year, and there's going to be people gone you'll never see again. But I was able to stay here because it was a different landscape. People weren't leaving, guys weren't transferring, they weren't second string and mad and going to USC or Oregon or leaving. We had to commit to being here together. So that's what's been impressive to see Kenny do here, is to build that camaraderie, that commitment, that ability to stick together and see a bigger picture than just, oh, where's the pasture greener and where's there more money. It's more like, let's make a mark like people will never forget. And I have to go back to going to Atlanta to the Peach Bowl and the outpouring of love I received from so many people, not even people that were my age and that were older, but even younger, that maybe weren't even alive when we played, that still were like, oh, I've heard so much about you and that team and what you mean to my dad or my mom and my family. And so if these players here today can understand that they may not realize that what they just accomplished last year will be something talked about for so long, because ASU hasn't been that perennial powerhouse that does it every single year or every other year. This last season will be remembered for what they accomplished and how they kind of set this valley back on fire and got people to believe again. And then you bring most of that group back, minus a couple key players. You know, that's going to be fun to see how this goes. If they can keep winning and stay there, and I believe they will. There's no reason why they shouldn't. And that's the exciting part, to see what happens. You know, for us, like I said, the comparisons are that we did get a chance to play for a national title. They were getting closer to play for a national title. So that implication just alone makes them similar, because there hasn't been another time, but you know, since we played '96, that we were in that conversation. So that's good to taste that and feel that. You know, had we had a chance to come back and play together again after '96, you know, who knows what happens. But these guys do. They get a chance to fix what they know they need to work on and get better at, and have that, oh man, they tasted it. They want to go back and get there, and that makes them hungry. So it's going to be exciting to see how this off season goes. And then again, you know, the season, I think as fans we want to see the same thing, but let's be just supportive in whatever they put forth, knowing that the plan is to be in the conversation every year. And the fans now, their job is to keep, being here for them, supporting that in whatever way they can.
Doug. Hi, Jay. On that note, I had a conversation with one of your former teammates a couple years ago, and we were talking about something related to the Rose Bowl year. And at the end of the conversation, he said, Doug, obviously it's tremendous. It's incredible to be remembered in this way. He said, but it's time for a new Arizona State team to emerge and create those memories. Was there ever a time that you kind of felt like, not that you didn't want the appreciation and the recognition for what you've done, but you were ready, like, okay, what we did happened a long time ago. It's time for a new team, a new time in Arizona State football.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you guys know, I'm going to be seen and remembered and recognized forever. But a lot of the guys on my team in '96 that were a huge part of that I couldn't have done it without them, they may walk around and not be seen or recognized. And so for them, I'm always trying to represent them whenever I do anything. I try to make sure people know that, without them, I was just another guy, another player. But yeah, of course, as a player at this program and as a Sun Devil, it was really the only team I really looked to and root for. In my pro career, I'm the Cardinals, the Broncos. If they win, great. If they lose, I'm not going to be upset. But I'd really like to see Arizona State do well. And they've had moments since we were, in '96. But it's been a long time since they were really in that conversation and at the top of the rankings. And what a time to have a year like this. Really, what an opportune moment. And as I hear Coach Ragle speak and Kenny, their dream was set a long time ago. And it reminds me of even just my path and my journey. My dream was to go play in the NFL, and I knew along the way a lot of things had to happen. And one of them was to have success at a college level, collegiate level, and I did that. And so when you have some strong belief that you really want and you desire and you put all your effort and energy into, and then you get other people that can come together with that and feel that same energy and belief, then something special can happen. And it's taken a while, but I feel like we got the right person leading this, and he's also surrounding himself with the right kind of coaches. And now it's not, I think his first year here, he may not have had the guys around him as a coaching staff as well as we have now. There's some great coaches on this staff, and you look back at the staff we had in '96. I got coached as a quarterback by two NFL head coaches, Bobby Petrino and Hugh Jackson. And you have to admit that Bruce Snyder was the guy running the puppeteer, the marionette up there, like doing his thing with all these pieces. And kudos to him and his vision to bring all of us together. But he was only the head coach. There were some phenomenal coaches on that staff that were teaching us as young men how to first be quality young men, but also how to play the game of football. And I'm seeing that happen here. Kenny is one key component. As your quarterback is one key component, but you got to have the surrounding parts around him that are also bringing that energy, bringing that belief, having no doubt. There was a time in my senior year, we kicked the coaches out of the room before Nebraska because we as players felt like they didn't think we could win the game. And no shot to them, but it was just, hey, let's get everybody out of this room that doesn't believe.
For those of you who've been listening on KSRN, again, it's been a phenomenal curveball thirsty Thursday of Pitchfork Lunch. But yes, it is time to get out of here. But you'll hear the rest of this. I have more Jay Plummer. Those watching, stick right here. But nonetheless, I will see you tomorrow. My KSRN awesome listeners on the Casual Sports Radio Network. So as always, forks up. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, my fellow Pitchfork Lunchers that are watching, again, yes, there's still more Jay Plummer coming. You saw it right there. But yeah, that coaching staff he had, I mean, like he's talking about Hugh Jackson and Bobby Petrino. I mean, Bruce Snyder again with Robin Pflugrad, who was the receivers coach, and Dan Cazzetto, the offensive line coach. Like, oh my gosh. Was it Coach Snow? Coach Snow was the secondary coach, I want to say. Coach Arbuckle, special teams coach. I'll get to, I'm missing a few. I know I was here, but yes. Anyway, but yes, let's get to I am not Jake Plummer. Yes, let's get back to more of Senior Jake Plummer. Again, third in the Heisman voting, by the way, Pitchfork Lunchers. I don't know if you remember that, but he was third that year in the Heisman voting. But yes, here is Jake.
For the game, and so I went to him and said, hey man, I need you to get this to Norvell or check this out. And I remember meeting him and just going, wow, he's just a young kid. Like he was in his teen years. I think he was only 19 at the time, maybe 20. And as time went, I watched him progress rapidly up the ladder. And I don't know exactly how my first impression was of him, other than that I saw this, he was eager to hear it and learn it. And he said, yeah, I'll get you to Norvell. Whenever I reached out to him, he would get back to me. And so, I think that's what you got to find quality people. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there. Kenny won't text me back now. He's the head coach at ASU. Well, yeah, he's busy. He's real busy. So when he doesn't text me back now, I don't care, because I know that's a good sign. He's working. He's doing his thing. But yeah, that fire, that little light in his eye was there when I first met him, and it's still there now. And that's really the thing that a program needs, is that guy that's leading the charge. And I love that he's been consistent about his message, that this place means something to him, and his passion shows in the way he coaches, the way he reacts to bad calls, the way he reacts to the fans charging onto the field, the way I get to see him react in the hallway after the game with his family. He's the real deal. He's in it. He's here. He's 2 feet on the ground and loving what he's doing. And that's, as a former player, and I know my teammates and everybody we gathered last night downtown at the Pedal House with about 15 guys from that team I played on in '96, my good buddies. We're all excited again. Not that we lost that excitement, but we definitely have something now that is tangible, and we see it and we can feel it.
Up front, Michael.
Jake, Michael Carrasino, Pitchfork Lunch. When you talk about, obviously, teams coming together and the way you guys came together your senior year, and this year, obviously, every week was like, oh, ASU won, but there's always a but. What did you think of the playoff and just the playoffs in general for them, but also just kind of, I mean, you had to hear a lot of the outside noise, like, oh, well, ASU there, that's a nice story, but can they really compete? How do you feel that fired them up, and just what do you think of the playoffs in general?
Yeah, I was really excited to see the playoffs, and like I said, what an opportune time for not only ASU, but my hometown Boise State, the Broncos. Here you go, you got this playoff that we were all hoping it would be full of, where was Michigan, where was Tennessee, where were some of these programs that are where football was invented and where football was only played at these places. And here we got ASU and BSU sitting there with byes into the first round bye. And so I love it. It gives teams a chance to catch fire, to win, and to get an opportunity to go see if they can hang with the big boys. And we did. We went round for round with Texas. Very well should have had an opportunity or a couple things go our way to win that game. Win or lose, though, it proved that, hey, you can do it. And whether the fans need to hear that or if the media needs to see that, it's the players that now believe that hey, okay, we really actually kind of dominated that team, and we should have won. It stings. It's nasty taste in our mouth. And let's go back and make sure what we can do, what we can build upon, who we can bring in to fill some roles, so that if we get this opportunity again, maybe it's against Notre Dame and you see ASU take it to Notre Dame. Win or lose, if you compete, that's what we want. Winning obviously is the main motivation. But being able to see a team like ASU go out there, my alma mater, and represent well and compete was awesome. Against seeing BSU, even against Penn State, get a couple calls that don't go against them, and they're right in that game. And it's like the narrative is set. And I'm not a narrative guy. If you guys remember me much, it's like, screw the narrative. Like, there's no such thing. And I think that when these things happen where ASU gets to now be, for the rest of time, for the rest of history, that first bracket for the first ever college football playoff, there's the pitchforks there. And you can't take that away. So what an opportune time, great for recruiting, great for getting some guys to come here and see what's building, what's happening. And no one talks about it, but I do, and I'm going to continue to, and hopefully we can start a little fire. You're going to play on grass. You're going to play on the best surface that there is in the entire United States. Find me a better playing field than this field here at ASU, and I'll come over there and shake your hand, because that is, you get to play on natural grass, with great weather, and a fan base that, yeah, you got to win to get them to come out. But when you win, they come out, and that's time to go and have some fun. So let's not forget, you can go play on that hard turf surface and that fake grass and all that in these other big schools, but you want to play on real grass, get grass stains on your jersey, and feel what it's like when you were a kid playing football out at the park. That's ASU. You get to play on the real deal. And so, yeah, it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to see what they do. Obviously, the work has to be done by the players, and they've made some good moves. And again, we get our signal caller back, and Sam with a year under his belt, and it's going to be fun to see how he handles this offseason, because guys are going to look to him for leadership. When you lose Scat, he's going to be a lot more focus put on him, but that's time for some other guys to step up.
Mark? Hey, Jake, Mark McClendon, Harrison's family, good to see you. Has pickleball replaced handball now as your official sport? And how does the competitive fire compare to playing quarterback at your event that's coming up in April?
Yeah, pickleball has become something I love to do. Handball is still a love of mine. It's just a little harder on the body. I can play handball, but I got to train to play handball and work out. I don't like working out. I like playing in. And the whole thought of going and trying to do something with no result, or anything, just doesn't sit well with me. So playing pickleball is my chance to go out and be active. It really came into my life about 7 years ago when I was not being active, and I went and played at the rec center in Boulder and was playing against 60, 70-year-old women, got my ass kicked. And the next day I could hardly walk. And I'm like, wait a sec, these ladies that are in their 70s are out here doing this, and now I can hardly walk? Okay, you better start moving, get back to action, get back to being mobile. And so it got me back on track for my own health and wellness. And now it's just a chance for me to go out. I'm not super competitive anymore. I mean, I love to, like I said, I like to play. If I can play and laugh and have fun and lose 11-9 or 11-2, I don't care. As long as I'm representing myself well and playing. And then it's a great community. There's great camaraderie, similar to handball, which when I played handball was really a great workout, a great time to sweat, to get around the guys, to have fun. And now with pickleball, it's kind of the same thing. It's definitely a good group of people, and I'm trying to get more guys to play it, because I just turned 50 in December, and I know a lot of the guys I played with, when I watch them move around, they're stiff, they're sore. The option is you can be stiff and sore and do nothing and complain about it, or you can come play pickleball, or go on a walk, or get on your bike and be stiff and sore because you did something. And you get to choose as we get older. And if you don't make that right choice now, it goes downhill fast. So trying to encourage guys to get after it, get back to being active and moving again. And those 7-year-olds go get the ball. The Jake Plummer Pickleball Bash. We're running it down at the Pickler and Tim down on Warner, and Proton Sports is a paddle company here local. The owner Charles is the owner of the Phoenix Flames and the Pickleball Pro team here. So yeah, trying to just have a fun time. As you remember, my bowling tournament was about fun, raising money for a good cause. That's what we're doing with this, getting some celebs out there to play with whoever wants to pay to play with them, and raise some money for a good cause, a good sport foundation that uses pickleball to service the underserved and populations and teach young kids how to play and to spread the game and really to spread health and wellness and activity and movement.
A couple more, Jake. Middle B, Jake. This is from Trust. From fans around the community, how being about the surrounding cities just continue to support this team, and how important is that for the players on the field in this entire program?
Yeah, it's really important, especially in today's day and age where players are getting paid. You know, the whole key now is to keep these guys here. And so, one, it's definitely the fans. Having a packed stadium is important. As a player, you want that. I played in that stadium a few times where there wasn't that many people in it. Not much at ASU. We had pretty good fans coming, and it was much bigger back then. So if there was 50,000, it still looked like, whoa, where's the fans? We still put them in there. But with the Cardinals, there were some days where there was a lot of seats that were empty. So as a player, you want to see the fans come out. That's the most important thing. Keep supporting these guys. Keep showing up. Keep coming to the games. It's a fun stadium. It's a beautiful stadium, one of the best in the country, if not the best. And now, though, the support can reach into you know, people's pockets too. Like whatever you can give, know that it's going to pay these young men who are sacrificing their bodies and their time and their brains and all of that to put out an entertaining game onto the field. Whether you think football is relevant or not, it is. In an institution like Arizona State, it's what drives, as Kenny was saying, you know, the right hand, the left hand, the foot. When the football team does well, all sports can thrive and build off of that. And like I mentioned earlier, the outpouring of love and the memories that were thrown at me and the adoration and respect that I got out in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. You know, this town is waiting and ready and hungry for this, and we saw that. You know, we saw them. You know, it's going to be live that first game next year, and the whole thing is to keep that fire going. You know, how do we keep that fire going? Because the fans too also can dissipate quickly if they don't get what they expect. But know that there's a process here, and there's part of this process is the fans being true supporters of the Sun Devils. And I think a lot of people end up living here and go to school here, so I don't think it's a hard thing to pack that stadium with Sun Devils. And yeah, the Valley is ready, and I've seen a lot more Sun Devil gear. I guess I could say when I fly around, not just coming down to Phoenix, flying around the country, you see more people wearing Sun Devil sweatshirts and hats, and you know that's a sign of you know, really the football team doing well again. And now the other sports are also picking it up. You know, basketball is competitive, baseball is doing well. We got a good. I like the way this thing's going. I got couple teammates that are in the building coaching, and that brings all the guys back. And I believe that these programs are understanding the importance of your alumni and the past players that helped build this thing to what it is today, or that played a part in that process. It's important to bring them back and appreciate them. And I think that's what, you know, Kenny has an open door policy. A lot of guys don't believe it. I tell them, get your bus down there, go down there and see, go down and feel it. You don't just sit in your house and say, you know, go down there and feel it. Go down and feel what Kenny's going to give you when you go see him. And then you don't have to doubt it. You don't have to wonder. You'll feel it. You'll want to be a part of this again.
Quick follow-up. What does it mean to you personally to see Pat Tony's legacy continue to grow with stuff like Pat's Ride and the Leadership Council?
Yeah, it's really, it's amazing. The work that everybody's put in, you know, starting, you know, with Perry and Doug and, you know, all the guys that have continued to lend their time and efforts to grow the foundation into what it is. My heart always still goes out to that family as they've dealt with a tremendous loss, as I still feel it from just my time with Pat. I can't imagine what his mother still goes through daily to deal with, you know, the fact that he's not around and wonder what he'd be up to. That's the hard part for me, is like just to be able to bounce what I'm up to off of him and hear him, you know, either dive in and question me deeper than I could be questioned to make sure that I knew what I was talking about, to also wonder what he would be up to. But it's nice to know that there's other people inspired by his legacy that are doing things in inspired by him and what he stood for, and they're things that are changing the world, and they're making the world a better place. So what the Pat Tillman Foundation is doing is tremendous, and Pat's run, being here last year and being there with my team and shooting the gun was amazing. To run it again was super fun, even though my ankle was not feeling good afterwards. I took care of that though, as you know, inspiration for what Pat stood for is to not talk and to go out and to act. So you know, when I get to speak about Pat, it always reminds me to take stock of how much I'm talking and how much I'm actually doing. And so I think that's the main thing here with a lot of people is get out and go do the run. And that could be the stepping stone or the step to doing other great things. And the foundation keeps growing and keeps doing a lot of awesome things, and I'm a huge supporter of that. And always sending my love out to the family, the brothers, the mom, the dad, and all the real tight friends of Pat's, because you know it's still hard for them to miss their brother and their friend.
Pass it over to Chris.
Thanks. Jake, thanks a lot for your time. You mentioned the early kind of struggles in '94 team at ASU, and Sam Levitt being so new and accomplishing what he did. He only threw 6 interceptions in 13 games. The game's changed a lot from when he played last year. How impressive is that? What goes into being able to avoid those bad Jeopardy throws when you're so young?
Yeah, you know, that's a pretty amazing number, 6, because he did not shy away from pulling the trigger many times where it could have easily been an interception, and that's what I like to see. I was actually talking to my teammates last night about, you know, the fact that I'd get yelled at for throwing an interception, and the coach would say, "What were you thinking? What were you doing?" And I'd just say, "I'm trying to make a play, coach. You know, that's what I'm here to do. I'm trying to make plays for you." And that's what you see from him is he's a scrapper. He's tough, and he's really quick. And what that can give him is that extra little bit of time in the pocket or escaping the pocket to make plays, you know, either running the ball or throwing it downfield. They're going to get a catch onto that, so it's going to be imperative for him to be even better with the ball and more. It's not conservative, you know. I don't like a conservative quarterback. I don't want to see a guy check it down and throw it out of bounds. I want to see him rip it down the field when he gets out of the pocket. And there was even a few times I'm like, oh, don't throw it out of bounds. You gotta, you know, give him a chance, you know. And that's when you find out more about your teammates. Because I never shied away from giving Keith Poole a chance down the field if there was one guy, sometimes 2 guys on him. Why? Because I trusted that Keith would come down with it or keep the other team from coming down with it. And that's that rapport and that relationship you build with the guys around you. Yet our number 1 receiver was not there during this game, but replacing a player like Stat is going to be very hard, as he was just, yeah, you don't see that very often, ever, in the whole game of football. Name another player around the country that had that much excitement and buzz around. I didn't see, but maybe a few other guys that were worthy of turning the TV on every day and watching him play. And he'll be missed, but you know that leaves that spot open for someone else to come in and embody what he stood for as a tone setter. Again, a guy who I saw a couple years ago in practice, and I was like, who's this kid? Somebody tell me what this guy's name is. And then I had to ask again, what was that? What was his name again? This guy what? Like, but then, you know, watching him just in practice, in spring ball, and his effort, and his desire, and his toughness, and he took every rep on special teams. All the running backs were injured. He took every rep at running back. He kept running all the way downfield, sprinting back. I could see that he was tired, just like the third quarter of the Peach Bowl when he was ready to be carted. He couldn't get off the ground. Yet a couple plays later, he comes in and throws a touchdown. It's like the kid just was relentless. And so to replace that you can't. There's no way you bring in anybody even close to that. But there's someone out there that's like, no, I'm going to show you, you're wrong, Jake. I'm going to come in here and show you what I can do. And that's the exciting part, is that someone's going to come fill that role and take a little pressure off of Sam. So yeah, that's the fun thing. We'll see what happens.
And there he is, Jake Plummer. And hey, man, Pitchfork lunch today, guys. It was curveball. I was going to talk a little bit more hockey and get to that tomorrow. Talk some women's hoops. Tough one last night against 10th ranked TCU. We'll get to that tomorrow too. We'll get to baseball tomorrow. Hockey, obviously, huge Western Michigan game. So, when Coach Dllingham talking, Coach Ragle gets his award. Love hearing from him. Bring you guys on the show, and then Jake Plummer, man. When Jake the Snake's just down, come on. So anyway, little curveball there, but nonetheless, that is the show today. Everybody, look, have a most phenomenal rest of your Thirsty Thursday. We'll talk softball tomorrow as well too, as they're going to be hosting again this weekend. So that in and of itself is awesome sauce. Softball tomorrow, yes, because today is Thursday. So Friday, they will have a game of, I want to say, was it 1:15 tomorrow? They take on Florida tomorrow, number 3 Florida, at 1:15, Club Farrington, bam, and then 4 p.m. they have Cal Baptist, and then at they have Cal Baptist at 4 p.m. and then hockey, obviously, tomorrow night as well. Look, I will get to all that. Baseball obviously has Oral Roberts. We'll get to that tomorrow, guys. But again, this curveball came in and wanted to bring you the stuff today. So if you missed it, again, subscribe to my wonderful YouTube channel. You see my name, Michael Caratonino, but you go to M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Again, because the shows are there. So, yes, and again, at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, my IG, Michael.Caratonino.5, and as you know, the Castle Sports Radio Network as well, www.ksrnaz.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. A little overtime today. Started a little bit later. A little overtime today, but man, had Jake the Snake. Can't go wrong with that, right? Along with, obviously, Coach Dllingham, Coach Ragle. So, yeah. But I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And, yes, have a phenomenal rest of your Thursday. Thanks to, and, yes, hashtag our state, courtesy of reigning Big 12 volleyball champs, Sun Devil women's volleyball. And as you guys know, yes, as always, since it is hashtag our state, as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown. Quick flag.
That's a way. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down. He scored.